I wanted to get involved in this project, probably selfishly, in that you learn an awful lot from being involved with other farmers trying to tackle the same challenges that you have in your own business. Peas and beans have just become another component of our planning. I think we've seen that the potential there is actually we can do a lot better than what we previously have been doing in terms of physical performance. So we really want to try and gain a better understanding of how we can push the boundaries of physical production.
Beans play quite an important part of our cropping rotation. We look to integrate them as companion crops where we can. In the organic market, there's a big problem with homegrown proteins, and so it's a really important part of the supply chain that we could add to.
In the NTS project, ADAS lead work package 2, which is the work package that's really trying to collect data and understand information around how you can optimise the growth of pulses and also how you can get the most out of pulses for arable rotations.
I started the Pulse Pioneer project from right at the beginning, and really for me beans is one of the under-researched elements of our crop production system, so anything we can do to help with that research, the better really.
We're trying to reduce the risks in our business, become more resilient, so we've broadened our cropping rotation so we have more crops, smaller areas, less exposed to climatic forces. In that we've been using some of the new options previously under countryside stewardship, now under the sustainable farming incentive as part of that process, really trying to understand where they work for us, what they deliver, where the unintended consequences are, and how they fit alongside our wider cropping rotation.
The first thing that we've been doing is creating this knowledge hub that's been up and running for about a year now, and that's kind of been having content added to that. The other thing we're doing is we're trying to look at data that's already available, so historic data from PGRO and Agri, for example, providing historic data from some of their trials, as well as Wessex Water. We're looking at publicly available data sets. What we're using those to understand is how many pulses are currently grown in the UK, where they're grown, and the reason we want to understand that is because if we want people to grow more pulses, we need to know who to target and how to target them. The Pulse Pioneers have been following their own interests and trying to look at how they can better grow pulses.
Sadly, our first year trial was really not very exciting, and our establishment was really poor, so we had quite a bad year to build much evidence or knowledge on. So next year I've planted at 90 degrees to the last year's trial plot, so we've got a variety of cereals grown across the bean plots, so we'll have looking at the residual effect of beans on various varieties of wheat, and then also we've got beans. They're actually being a second plot in the rotation, but we've got beans growing on their own as well.
So as part of the project, we're looking at comparing winter beans against the SFI Action num3, the legume fallow. So we're looking at principally growing a crop versus growing an environmental option that's funded in a different way to what we're used to. Truly understand the impacts of what's happening with that. Are there more benefits than what we'd initially take beyond the payments? What impact that has in our wider cropping rotation.
So I think the results that we're going to see and how we can compare that with our other Pulse Pioneers is going to be really interesting. So far, just hearing about the variation in yield has been phenomenal, and just to see, well, how are they doing that?
The Pulse Pioneers will next be taking soil mineral nitrogen samples from their wheat fields in the areas that followed either their pulse crop or their non-pulse crop. And that's going to be really valuable for understanding the nitrogen provision that's been made by those crops.
We're beginning to get a really good picture of the contribution that homegrown pulses are making across arable rotations. And that is going to deliver real savings for our Pulse Pioneers in terms of where they take their nutrition programs forward, and in particular nitrogen use efficiency, but also on carbon emissions as well. All of us are now measuring our carbon footprint, and we're going to be measuring it year after year, so we can see not only in terms of nitrogen use efficiency the savings that could be made, but also the difference that we're making for our carbon emissions.